In this video, I'm going to show a practical use case for app readiness, how automated packaging and testing can be initiated by an application owner, not just the packaging team. You'll see two experiences on screen. The automation engine is app readiness. That's what does the packaging, testing, and optional publishing. You'll also see app owner because it makes the workflow easier to drive and govern by prompting lightweight application owner check-ins and capturing business context automation can't reliably infer. That's important because even with powerful automation, not every update should be tested and deployed. Application owners help teams make better decisions by adding impact, urgency, and eligibility, like whether they're licensed and entitled to the newer version, or whether an upgrade would require procurement or contract changes. And to be clear, app owner isn't required for what I'm about to show. If you have app readiness, you can still use the application owner role directly in app readiness to let non-packagers initiate automation in a simplified, controlled way. An application owner typically checks in for one of two reasons. Either a defined interval is passed, or something raises urgency, like a vulnerability disclosure, an incident, or a business event that makes updating important. In mature programs, owners aren't expected to hunt for signals. The point is to make the right action obvious when the moment is right, whether that's a new version being detected, a vulnerability being disclosed, or simply seeing that peers are adopting an update. In App Owner here, I can see what applications are assigned to me. Let's check in beyond compare. I can see that there is a newer version available and take a quick look at the release notes. You really need to be somebody that knows the application to identify if a particular bug might be impacting your environment. A good example of somewhere where automation would fall short without some human intervention. So I'm going to go ahead and say, it's not a security release, but I do believe we need to update. And the reason is there is a bug fix we need. And now when I hit proceed, it's going to take me into app readiness as an app owner. So it's a very simplified user experience just to collect the application and initiate the automation. So here's the latest beyond compare. I could also have just uploaded a setup if I had one. And I just confirm the simple metadata. And that is all from the perspective of an application owner, who we're assuming in this case is not a technical person that would be normally involved in packaging at all. Now, to show this isn't magic, I'm going to switch roles. I'll log in not as an application owner, but as a packager, and I'll show a few of the details and decisions that can be pre-configured and automated behind the scenes for application owners. Before I add an application, I want to start with the default settings in app readiness. These are defaults, but they're also what instruct the automation, whether packaging is initiated by an application owner in the simplified view, or if it's a scheduled automation with no one present to make decisions. I'm going to click through a few key areas quickly so you can see what's being standardized and automated behind the scenes. So first, output formats. You can choose what you want the defaults to be. This is the type of thing that a non-technical person would not want to have to decide upon, nor would you want them to, as well as what virtual machines you want used for different operations. Now let's take a look at smoke testing. We can set what keywords should be handled when pop-ups arrive, if there's certain ones we want to flag as a warning, or if there's certain ones we want to ignore, we can decide that here. Same for event logs. We can look for specific keywords in the Windows event logs and handle those as we like. And again, for exit codes, when something's launched, it returns an exit code, and you can dictate which exit codes should result in what status. And you can also choose if you want the uninstall to result in a failure if there's a problem with the uninstall or not. We also have this concept of virtual machine groups. So VM groups are groups of machines that you can assign tasks to. You could have 30 VMs in your clean packaging VM group, and that would mean that you could do up to 30 at a time, and they will spin up and down as needed. There's also some automated maintenance capabilities here, so you can keep those virtual machines in a good state without having to perform manual tasks. That can be scheduled on whatever basis you like. And then finally, packaging standards. So in the settings, you'll also see there's quite a lot of things you can set in terms of dictating naming conventions. For MSIs, you can have standard properties that are always set and their values. You can put a signature down for software asset management systems to look for and register when a properly managed application has been installed on a device. You could also dictate specific command lines if you wanted to, for example, always have your MSIs generate a log in a certain location. You could enforce that here. And then there's other controls about how the MSI is constructed. So there's quite a bit of control here, but what I really want to show you is just what it's like to take an application through the process as a packager versus the simplified view I showed you before. So this time through, I'm going to add one manually instead of from Juriba KB, even though we actually have this application in Juriba KB. I want to show you the alternative user experience. Had I uploaded multiple files in a zip file, I could choose what the main executable was here, but we just have the one. On this next screen, it will read the metadata from the setup file for my verification. You can see there is a couple of more fields here than there were as an application owner. Now, despite not having downloaded this installation from Juriba KB, we were able to match and see that we have it. And this is the command line that we've seen successful in the past. There's also a programmatic and AI-generated command line suggestion, and the uninstall command line can actually be determined for me automatically during the smoke testing process, so I'll leave that one blank. And I can optionally choose any prerequisites that I want to have installed before this package. I can also, if I'm building an MSI, as I am, I can choose the last version of the package so that we can make it a proper MSI upgrade. I had already selected my defaults here and my virtual machines, so there isn't much more to do unless I wanted to make some ad hoc changes to the Juriba AI. The command line's already been set. I can automatically smoke test this so that I know it works, and that really is all there is to it. That's the full flow end-to-end. A simplified application owner experience to initiate automation, and a packager view that showed you the standards, controls, and decisions happening behind the scenes. The big value is repeatable throughput. App Readiness can start from the catalog when it's available, or from an uploaded installer when it isn't. It can handle different packaging methods, generate the formats you need, and run testing in a consistent way so results are predictable. You get more coverage, faster turnaround, and less dependency on a small team that has to get their hands on every package request. If this was helpful, keep an eye out for the next videos where we'll dig deeper into different parts of the solution in more detail.